Hello, I'm Jeff Patterson. Up until this point in the Chen form, we have been looking at the first few movements of the form. We've been talking about some of the martial applications in the form. Remember, this is just a basic outline of the form, but I'm trying to throw in some martial ideas in there so you get an kind of spark your interest to more than just what I'm doing when I put my hands in these positions. Whether you're doing it for health or martial art, it's good to understand and have the purpose and the fullness in the posture, because to make the martial art effective, we have to have a good base, structure, alignment. We have to be able to feel the floor in our hands. And of course that's good for the martial art because you have to have that power and that defensive ability, but it's also good for the health. Because if my stance is weak and I'm leaning over like this, I'm going to strain my knee, or I'm going to maybe cause an injury. I'm not going to have the right energy. I'm not going to have as much power. And that power generates energy circulation in the body. And so it's all kind of connected. And so again, even if you're doing this for health, you don't have to necessarily practice like you're learning a martial art and learning how to strike and punch and kick, but you do want to understand the underlying principles of why we do it that way for the martial art, because it will help you get more out of it for health and longevity. So we finished the last session with single whip, and I'm just going to take it from there today, and then at the end of the video I'm going to go ahead and run through up until this new point from the very beginning so you can kind of see the flow. So from single whip, we finished here. Remember, we're using the willow leaf, the fist posture here. And again, if you haven't watched the first 4 videos, please go back and watch those, because there's a lot of details we cover. And some of the movements in this series are repeated movements. And I'm not going to talk too much about the details of them because I already did that in the previous videos. So make sure to go back and watch those. So again, when I'm in my single whip position here, the first movement is I do a weight shift, and if you notice, this hand is doing an outward coil and this hand is doing an inward coil. So this is my yang coil and this is my yin coil. So I'm doing those simultaneously here. Now there's a lot of martial applications with those coils, whether it's getting into the chin-na or even striking or defending, depending on what we're doing. You know, somebody could throw a punch at me and I could do a yin coil and defend the punch and then come back with a punch. I could do an outward coil for a wrist grab and go to a lock, or a wrist grab and go to a punch. Whatever it is, there's lots of options for that. But again, if you watch when I circle, the important part is the weight transfer, the turning and the coiling of the body of the waist, and that connection from the floor into the hands. So if I can make that connection have power, almost like if I was playing tug of war and I really got that good alignment and structure to get the most power possible, it's like that in the form, but without so much tension. So when I'm here, I circle, and then that coil leads into a bigger circle as I do what we call in boxing, we call this an 8-step. So if you look at me from the side, if we were to break a circle into 8 positions, I'm doing about an 1/8 of a circle, or a piece of pie here. This would be an 8, this would be a quarter, this would be 3/4, or excuse me, 3/8. So from here, so you're going to go 8-step, quarter, 8-step, quarter. Now notice I just went 180 degrees. So when we're doing this first one from single whip, circle, down, I get my 8-step. And in this position here, I've got power in my hands. I could really pull on this one. Now this 8-step is real important for martial arts, because if I've got somebody in front of me and I throw a strike and I stay right here, I'm easy target. I'm easy for him to hit. But if I move my head off to the side, now I'm not standing right in front of him. I'm always moving. And so you'll see when we are sparring, or if we're doing more active play, we're doing some active, more competitive push hands, we're always moving and changing our angle, making it hard for the person to find our center, which in Tai Chi is what you're always trying to do. You're always trying to be in control of the other person's center line. So, again, we're starting from our single whip, circle, yin and yang coil, come down here. Now, this next movement, I'm not going to talk about much because we already did it. We did all of this earlier in the form to here. Now, this next movement, when I come through here, my feet are coming back this way. So this could be a few different applications. You could do an inside back sweep or an outside back sweep. So say my partner or my opponent is in front of me and their feet are staggered. They've got their left foot here and their right foot here. If I come to the outside of this leg, that would be considered an outside sweep. Maybe he's got the right foot in front and I come inside. So his right foot is there and his left foot is here. I come inside the right foot and I sweep this way. These are two applications of this same movement, depending on whether it's the outside of the leg or the inside of the leg. So as we start here, I circle the hands, I sweep inside, and here. Now, there's a lot of hidden movements in there. So when I do this, I'm going to do from the front. First off, this circle. This circle has many different applications. When I go to throw the punch, I'm circling inside. I'm moving this here. So when you do the circle here, or maybe they go to grab my wrist and I circle over the top and re-grab doing a yang coil. This is another application. I do my back sweep here. Now from here, this first movement is a splitting motion. So say somebody is pushing either side of my body, or they come in with a punch to this side of my body, and I can come inside here to split and then follow up with a combination, or I come inside to split and I come into a lock, or I come in and go to a sweep. There's many different applications in how we can use this splitting motion. Maybe they've got two hands on me and they're pushing me back up against the wall, and I come inside and open them up a little bit and then come in with any attack I want. But as you do this, that's that first motion. So as I do that split, now this next motion, this hand is kind of doing this parrying motion here. Now, this is pretty obvious. Could be for like a punch coming at me. I could parry the punch and hit, parry the punch and uppercut, parry the punch and knee. So you have a lot of applications, again, for this one energy. And if you notice, I'm not spending a lot of time on any one of these applications. I just want to spark the idea that in this form, there's thousands of martial applications. We're just looking at the basic outline of the form, but keep that in mind that no one movement is one application. And that's something I've seen through the years of teaching. I'll get people to come in and they'll be learning Tai Chi for even 10, 15 years, and they'll say, okay, this move is this. I say, well, what else? Well, this is what my Sifu told me. Okay, well, that's great. That's one application. But what else can you do with it? You always want to question what you're doing and think about how you can apply it from different angles, because trust me, there's hundreds of ways to apply this stuff. Now, as long as you're applying it with an educated approach and not just making up dance moves, it can have a purpose. If you don't know, if you don't have enough skill level yet, if you haven't spent enough time, memorize the movements that I'm teaching here. And as time goes by, you're going to get more educated and you're going to understand how to find more within the form for yourself. And that's kind of where we're going with this. So we've gone through here and we've done this one. Now, when I come in from here to here, this movement here, again, we talked about the parry. This could also be, say I'm kind of tied up with somebody and they have their hands up. I could clear the hands and come in with an uppercut, or I could clear the hands and go with a ridge hand to the groin. So there's, again, different ways we can apply this. 1, 2. Now this one we covered earlier in the form. Circle. As I come in here and I lean in, this can be a shoulder bump, this can be an elbow. Here. So this is if I'm maybe tied up with somebody close, their one foot is here and one foot is there, and we're in tight and we're grappling, I could step in and shoulder bump, hit to the chest or to his face, come underneath here, or if I'm in close here, I could come in and throw the elbow. So as I come in here, so we'll start from this one, I do the back sweep, here, come in with that bump. Now, from this position here, I'm going to cross the hands and come into my crane cools its wings or stork spreads its wings position. Now, this position is an open position where this can be a deflection for a kick. This could be an opening to come in and punch. And remember, we're making the movements big because it's the form. We're trying to learn the proper energy and the weight transfer in the movement. In reality, it might just be here. Or even in this posture right here is, a lot of people don't see this one, but boxers use this all the time. You look at a 3-point cover in boxing, that's this. It's the same energy, okay? So again, there's a lot hidden in this form. So when we come up from here, this is where we finish. All right, so I'm going to go through from the beginning now. I'll do once facing the camera and once away from the camera, and we'll go up to this stork spreads his wing position so you can see how it looks. Again, remember, I'm not going to talk about any of the martial applications this time through. Just going to go through at a moderate pace, and you can follow along with it from the front and then also from the rear. So. This is where we started the video today. All right, I'll do it once from the rear so you can follow along. I'm going to go a little slower this time. I find it's easier when you're looking at a video to follow from the back side. And so if this is new to you, go a little bit slow so you can try to mimic what I'm doing. All right, so next few movements on the Chen style. Hopefully you're enjoying the content, and I'm going to continue on with this. I'll put out at least 1 or 2 new videos every week for you and get through some of this form. Remember, if you want more details and you're liking this style of training that we're doing, check out our Tai Chi Qigong online program. I'm going to put a lot more content up there than I am on YouTube, and it also has a lot of written content and guidelines for active resets and different things that you can use to really expand your practice, different philosophical concepts that I'm not always getting into in the videos. So at least in the videos that we're putting up on YouTube. So make sure to check that out. There's a 2-week free trial in there. You can go in and see everything that we have going on with that. So thanks for watching, and we will look forward to seeing you in the next video.